Overtime. Sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm David Greenberg. Our mission is to keep school spirit alive and well during a scaled-back fall sports season and at a time when many students will be taking online classes.
We have another fun show in store for you. We'll feature the golfing Greenberg sisters from Boylan, Ella and Eva. We'll get to know Byron golfer Mason Brandt, and we'll check out some of your school spirit photos.
In our Glory Days segment, we'll look back at South Beloit's 2002 state championship football team and chat with their quarterback of that winning team, Jared Shipley. And we have week 2 of our Battle of the Stadiums contest.
Let's get you started with one of the biggest pieces of news from this week from the IHSA.
Coaches and athletes in the fall sports that are competing will have a chance to compete in postseason action. The IHSA announced there will be regional competitions held in golf, cross country, girls swimming, and girls tennis. Those regionals will take place the 3rd week of October. After that, the fall seasons will likely end because it looks like state tournaments won't be happening.
Boylan boys golf coach John Canova says it makes sense to hold regional tournaments.
Obviously one of these sports where the guys can be socially distanced. They're only playing with their own equipment. They're not touching anybody else's. So I'm very glad that they're doing it for the kids. I mean, it's, you know, to not give them that opportunity, it wouldn't be fair for them.
Yeah, it's too bad there won't be any state tournaments, though.
Yeah, that's a tough blow. Many local athletes could have challenged for all state honors. The golf season is going strong, though. There was a big event last Saturday at Prairie View Golf Course in Byron, the Tiger Invitational. There were 5 teams from the area that competed in that event. The Byron Tigers were led by standout freshman Mason Brandt. Here he is on the green, showing off his putting skills. Despite a good lag here, he had 3 tough 3-putts that hurt his day a little bit. However, he still managed to finish with an impressive 82. Brandt was paired up with Stillman Valley's #1 senior Tim Markham. He'd make his way to the green, and he'd tap this one in right here for par at the 2nd. Markham finished the day with an 86. His partner was Stillman sophomore Griffin Smith. Smith struggled a bit through the front 9, but was absolutely lights out on the back. Take a look at this chip here. Very tough up and down, but he makes it look easy, placing this one 1.5 feet from the hole. He'd finish that one out for par. This was his tee shot at the par 3 13th, and it was a beauty. He dropped it to less than 6 feet and buried the birdie try. Smits finished the back 9 with an even 36 and led the way for the Cardinals with a round of 80, good for 2nd in the tournament. But here was the best golfer of the day. Colin Ellsbury from Rockford Christian led all golfers with a score of 79, largely in part to his putter. He actually mentioned to me the following day he was supposed to have putting lessons, if you can imagine that. Not much to fix in his stroke here. Check out this next one. Gets that one close to the pin, but check out this next one. Hard right turn and downhill, but it doesn't matter. He buries it anyways. An impressive day for the senior. He'd help Rockford Christian secure 1st place in the tournament. After his round, he said he's trying to lead by example in his final year.
Basically try to lead by just like letting the guys know that we have someone right behind them if they have a bad day. We're all going to have bad days sooner or later, and it just depends that one guy needs to step up after that. I feel like we can go pretty far. We've in the past had little struggles, but I feel like with this team we're all a solid group of guys. Like if one goes down, the other one's picking someone right back up.
So Rockford Christian took the team championship with a score of 328. Stillman Valley had an excellent day and finished 2nd, only 5 strokes behind the Royal Lions. Byron took 3rd, followed by Oregon and Forston.
For girls golf action, we go to Timber Point. This was on Tuesday. Rockford Coupe took on Belvedere Coupe. Belvedere's #1, Co Wahlberg, put together a solid round thanks to knocking down putts like these. She finished with a 42. Rockford's Anna Doherty had a really nice day around the greens. Check out this one from distance for birdie. She finished with a score of 41. Kayla Sialin seems to be following right in her older sister's footsteps. She was the one to beat, shooting just 1 over on the front 9. She ended the afternoon with a very impressive 37. Rockford Coupe won the match 182-193. Despite the loss, Belvedere's head coach says she has some high hopes for this season.
We have plenty of girls on the team this year. We actually have 23, and the best part is our team's really deep as far as the girls coming out and actually showing up to play every match and whatnot. So I would say if we can stay consistent, we'll be pretty strong, I think, the rest of the season.
Nick 10 girls tennis teams held their first competitions this week. This is from Monday when Guilford hosted DeKalb at the Guilford Tennis Center. Now, spectators, they had their protective mask on, and they did a good job keeping their distance. We're going to pick it up here with Guilford's #1 singles player, Casey Alcutt. She won her match over Kariah Foster's 6-love, 6-love. Alcutt is a 2-time state qualifier. Next up, it's the #1 doubles team for the Vikings of Maggie Thomas and Sarah Dennis. They won their match 6-2, 6-4. Guilford defeated DeKalb 5-0. It was a promising start for a very young Guilford team.
We have just 2 returning varsity players. However, we won fresh off conference last year. We have a lot of underclassmen that are coming in very talented, so we should have a pretty good season.
Well, if you plan on attending any of the fall sports events that are going on, there are safety guidelines that you'll need to follow.
Yeah, this week the Nick 10 released a reminder of the IHSA's guidelines for return to play. Spectators should social distance at all times. You're encouraged to bring your own lawn chairs for some of the outdoor events. Spectators might be assigned specific viewing areas to watch from, and you must wear a face covering at all times. Spectators are allowed at the outdoor sports, but they are not allowed at swimming events, which are indoors.
And that brings us to our question of the week. Do you believe spectators should be allowed to attend high school sporting events this fall? Cast your eyes, or rather your yes or no answer on any tech device. You can do that by going to mystateline.com/interact. That's mystateline.com/interact. We'll update you later in the show on how you're answering.
Coming up next, we'll check out some of your school spirit photos, plus their 2 sisters who can't be kept away from the golf course. They're the Greenbergs from Boylan.
And later, we relive South Beloit's 2002 state championship football season with a quarterback from that team, Jared Shipley. You're watching Overtime.
Welcome back. As we said at the top of the show, Overtime is all about keeping school spirit alive and well. We want you to help us with that. We want you to email us your school spirit photos.
Yeah, it could be photos from the past year or decades ago. If you were a cheerleader in the 1970s, we want to see your photo. If you played football or tennis in the 80s, bring it on.
And we're more than happy to take photos of band members and mascots too, or a shot of you wearing your school colors, and especially with your face painted.
Each week we're going to show a few of these photos, so here are a few photos you sent to us this week. Gage Christensen sent us this one. This is Gage making a great leaping catch for Hononegah against Boylan 2 years ago.
That's what you call catch radius. Looks like Calvin Johnson. Great extension there by Gage. Amber Bennett sent us these next 2 photos of Byron's football team. The team talking some strategy over there on the sideline. This weekend we would have the opening. This would have been the opening weekend of the high school football season. Here's a second photo of the Tigers Amber sent to us. Amber says, "We are missing our football for sure in Byron. Aren't we all?"
I second that. Thanks for those photos, Amber. Hey, don't be shy, folks. Send us your school spirit photos. They can be from any era, any sport, or you can simply dress up in your favorite school sportswear, and heck, you can include your dog dressed up in school wear if you want to. Let's have some fun with this.
Email those photos to sports@fox39.com. That's sports@fox39.com. And be sure to include your name and a brief description of the photo.
Well, Boylan High School's turned out a lot of terrific golfers over the years, boys and girls, and they have 2 more special ones on the girls' team this year.
Yeah, they're the Greenberg sisters. Despite both being underclassmen, they play the game much better than most of us ever will.
As the high school golf season teed off a short while ago, the girls' team at Boylan is ready to do some damage.
To win conference and win state.
That's Ella Greenberg, and this is her younger sister Eva.
Do better than the tournaments.
Together, they're 2 of the best young golfers in the area.
Probably winning Medina, the Medina Junior Shrine Invitational. I shot 76-70, and I was the youngest one in it. I was playing against girls that are going to Michigan and all over the place, and so I won that last year, like right as I graduated 8th grade.
Junior high showed these 2 some good times, like when Eva
Shot 73 into a playoff, and then I birdied the first hole to win.
but they've been good long before then.
My best was probably when I was like 8, I think, and at Sandy Hollow on number 4, I was like 90 yards out, and I hit it in for an eagle. So that was my first eagle.
Ella started playing when she was just 5 years old.
I think I took my first lesson, and she was at the lesson, and my coach Lloyd, he's like, "Do you want to come join us?" And she was like, no, she was scared to join us.
Eventually, Eva came around to love the sport, which makes for some fun little competition, like when it comes to who's better at putting.
It's off and on.
Yeah.
Depends on the week.
Mine get
Lately-
closer, but
I
she
make
can
more.
make more.
As the two have grown up, they've found themselves battling one another in various tournaments.
Pretty competitive.
While they're both usually right there atop the leaderboard, there's never any hostility towards the other.
I mean, she's a good player. We're both good, really good players.
Like during this event, at the Winnebago Crosstown Classic, where the girls were paired up with closest friends and teammates from Boylan.
It's harder to, play against your teammates, I guess, but it's also really fun because it's like familiar people, and I always try to encourage my teammates and help them out as much as I can. Good ball.
There's plenty of support when following this bunch.
Volley.
And Ella's right there to guide her sister as well.
Yeah, she always tells me where to aim or what I'm doing wrong with my swing or keep my head down with putting.
And sometimes Eva lets her sister know when she's being a little bit too aggressive.
She was like, don't go for it, you're gonna hit it in the water. And so I was like, okay. So then I ended up clubbing down one, and then so she helped me with that.
It's their maturity that stands out. When they're not on the links, they know how to take their mind off the game.
I think sometimes if you play just too much golf, you're gonna get burnt out. So I just hang out with my friends. My best friend Morgan is on my team, so we are together a lot.
Along with their talented teammates, Eva, a freshman, and Ella, a sophomore, could take the Boylan girls golf program to even greater heights.
So we have two Greenberg golfers and a Greenberg interviewing them. What are the odds of that? Any relation?
No relation, but I can promise you they are much better golfers than I am. Up next, we'll check out 6 more stadiums for our Week 2 Battle of the Stadiums competition.
And do you remember how great that 2002 state championship football team at South Beloit was? We'll refresh your memory in our Glory Days segment. If you mention the year 2002 to anyone in South Beloit, chances are it'll put a smile on their face. That was the year the Sobos football team won the school's first and only state championship. Head coach Drew Potoff loved to run the spread offense, and he had the perfect quarterback for it in Jared Shipley. Shipley passed for more than 3,800 yards and 45 touchdowns that season. In this 1A game against undefeated El Paso, Shipley completed 4 touchdown passes to his many weapons. The first 2 went to Jacob Dunkel in the first half. But at that point, it was anybody's ball game. It was tied 14-14 at halftime. But the Sobos dominated the second half, outscoring El Paso 16-0 in the third quarter. Gary Ushing caught a 10-yard touchdown pass that quarter, and Jason Goldsworthy ran in for a 3-yard touchdown. In the fourth quarter, the Sobos outscored El Paso 20-8. Shipley connected with Brian Little for a 20-yard touchdown. Little later returned a fumble 51 yards for a touchdown, and the Sobos went on to win the game 50-22.
We've been waiting for this forever. This is just so awesome that we just, we came out here and we just, played good on both sides of the ball.
Joining us now on the Overtime Hotline is that same Jared Shipley, the quarterback of the Sobos, only a few years older now. Jared, it's great to talk to you again after all these years. How fresh in your mind is that championship game and the championship day, or have the memories faded a little bit?
I would say the memories have faded just a little bit, but there are things that I do remember about the state championship game. Just the camaraderie and the brotherhood, just to get there, the trip there, the journey was really what I take away from the whole experience.
That game was tied 14-14 at halftime. Then you guys outscored El Paso 36-8 in the second half. What was the big difference in that second half?
It was pretty much the nerves. I think we were all kind of just really excited to be there. It was a culmination of a lot of hard work, and to get to that point, it was very nerve-wracking, but we settled down and we just got into our offense, and we just took it from there.
These days, everybody's running the spread offense and throwing the ball. You guys were one of the first teams to commit to that style. What was it like to play in that offense, and especially to be the quarterback in that offense?
It was a blast. To be 7 yards back in a shotgun and just kind of have all day to sit there and throw. We had some really good athletes, especially in the wide receiver corps, from the Listenby brothers, Jacob Dunkel, Brian Little. So we had some really fast and talented receivers. So I think everybody, once that playbook was rolled out, we were all very excited.
The thing I remember most about that day was hours after the game ended, everyone headed back to north from Champaign to South Beloit, and there was a huge celebration held at the City Park in South Beloit that night. And that place was absolutely packed with people. How well do you remember that celebration?
I remember it very well. That was one of my greatest memories of South Beloit was getting off that bus and seeing just the entire town, it seemed like. And I know everybody was extremely proud, and we were so proud to be from South Beloit and being so close.
Our thanks to Jared Shipley for joining us. Jared now lives in Dubuque, Iowa, and he works for Dubuque County as a system administrator. Coming up next, week 2 of our Battle of the Stadiums competition, and we get to know Byron golfer Mason Brandt. Right now it's time for our overtime trivia question. South Beloit was in the NUIC when it won its championship in 2002. Since then, how many more state championships have NUIC teams won? Is it 6, 9, or 14? We'll have the answer in a bit.
Once again, here's our trivia question. Since South Beloit's 2002 state championship season, how many more state championships has the NUIC football teams won? Is it 6, 9, or 14?
The answer is 14. 14 championships by 6 different schools. Lena Winslow, Dakota, Forreston, Galena, Aquin, and EPC have all won titles or multiple titles. Well, each week we want to have some fun and get to know one of our fall sports athletes a little bit better.
This week I sat down with Byron's #1 golfer, freshman Mason Brandt.
If I'm not playing golf, I usually just, I don't know. Oh, that's a hard one. Ricky Fowler.
I get that like Ricky kind of vibe from you with the long hair and
yeah.
I like that. How much golf do you play a week, would you say?
I almost go out 7 days a week play golf.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I play holes, other times I just go out here, practice, chip and putt. Basketball or baseball maybe.
Okay. Do you play either of those sports now?
Yeah, I play basketball. And then baseball, I used to play baseball when I was younger. I was pretty good, but golf, it overtook it.
Who are your favorite baseball or basketball players?
My favorite baseball player is probably Mike Trout.
Okay. It's tough to argue with that.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. I don't really watch the
LeBron?
I don't like LeBron. I like Michael
LeBron?
Jordan.
Oh, see, I'm a LeBron guy. Okay, so then who's this? Who's the GOAT?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
One of my fears is if I'm on the course like this and I have to go fetch a ball in the rough that I'm just gonna get like eaten by a snake or something like that. I don't know, maybe
You're afraid
that's
of
weird.
snakes?
Yeah, I mean, just getting snuck up by one, you know?
I would say probably doing bad on the course. Oh, that's a hard one.
Any maybe favorite movie or favorite TV show?
I like the Marvel. I like
okay.
the Marvel.
So superhero stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, who's your favorite superhero?
Iron Man, probably.
Iron Man, why? How come? Tony Stark?
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy, right?
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks to Mason for being a great sport. We are on a mission to find out the most popular high school football stadiums in the Rockford area. It's our Battle of the Stadiums contest.
Each week we'll pit stadiums against each other from the 4 major conferences, and you vote for your favorites. Our Week 1 winners were in the Nick 10, Harlem's Peterson Stadium defeated Belvedere's Funderburg Stadium with 69% of the vote to 31%. And in the NUIC, Dakota Stadium was a resounding winner over Eastland Stadium, 93% to 7%. Now let's meet this week's contestants.
Vote for your favorites now or anytime this coming week by going to our website, mystateline.com. Look for the Battle of the Stadiums tab or icon. Let's take one final timeout.
We'll be right back.
One more time, let's take a look at tonight's poll question. Do you believe spectators should be allowed to attend high school sporting events this fall?
All right, there you see the results at the bottom of your screen. 71% of you say yes, let the fans go to the games and have some fun and enjoy them. 29% say no. So either way, you're entitled to your opinion. So thanks for checking in with us with that. Now, be sure to join us each Friday night live at 11 o'clock for Overtime here on Fox 39. You can also catch the rebroadcast Sunday mornings at 9 on Fox 39. We'll see you next time.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Overtime. Sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.